Okay. All right. Hello, hello, hello. I think this sounds pretty good now. You should be able to hear me. If you can hear me, then type in the chat, the YouTube chat, not the Dynasty chat. Hello, 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 hello. Type in the or type in the YouTube chat if you can hear me. All right. Looks good to me. Hello, hello, can you hear me? If you can hear me, type in the YouTube chat. Hello, hello, hello. If you can hear me, type in the YouTube chat. All right, great. Sounds fine. I don't sound too quiet. All right. Well, I think we'll just get going then. All right. You sound terrible like normal, but volume is fine. Appreciate it. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right. So yeah, we can start off by just introducing everyone. This is the Goaties. We got a nice little updated slide template here. Much better than last year, in my opinion, although I definitely got lazy on the animating in terms of everything. But hopefully this will be a little bit more entertaining for anyone that's watching or anyone who gets to watch the VOD, because I also included some nominations um, that will hopefully add a little drama as you watch to who actually ends up winning, and also shed a little bit more light on everything that's going on in the league throughout the year. But yeah, I think we can just get going into it. First thing we'll do is we'll go over all the awards and the ones that are just, I guess, all the awards that are going to be presented. So we'll go into the next slide. So we have basically almost every award that we had last year. The only one that I added this year is the one on the next page. We have Nikhil Harry Award, and I put a description for each one of these awards before the nominations and everything, so there'll be no misunderstanding. I think the only one that's new is, yeah, this Trust the Process Award. But yeah, other than that, every award is the same as last year, minus maybe one I think I just got rid of because it was too hard to carry over to this past year. All right, well, let's get into it. All right, Nikhil Harry Award. This award is for the worst draft pick based in the context of their 2024 season. So I believe I won this one last year with QJ. That was the starter draft, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Um, and I gave this award to myself last year. So this year, the nominations are Trey Benson for Digos, Jonathan Brooks for Mega Weenie Mites, and I also deserved another nomination this past year for JJ McCarthy. Um, in the context of the 2024 season, might make this a little bit more confusing as I do these. But the winner of this award goes to Jonathan Brooks for Mega Weenie Mites. The main reason for that, I think my deciding on that was JJ. I think I said in the 2024 season when I made this, technically, I guess JJ probably should have won this. But I think the reason that I did this was just because he was planning to act. Jonathan Brooks was like going to play at some point in the year, whereas JJ didn't even make it through the preseason. And then when he got in, he just ended up tearing his ACL again, which is just extremely bad luck for him and for Mega Weenie Mites. But yeah, that's the first award for Nikhil Harry Award. No back to back for me, which could be controversial. Next award is the Rookie Whisperer. This award is for the best draft pick based in the context of their 2024 season. So we had Tyrone Tracy for Allied Andy, Brock Bowers for the Sun God Supremacists, and Bucky Irving for Allied Andy. The winner of this award was Bucky Irving for Allied Andy. Reasoning for this being, I believe that, as great as Brock Bowers had for a rookie tight end season, I added some draft capital considerations into this award. So the fact that Andy, you know, having the best draft pick end up being from the third round as opposed to the first round with Brock Bowers is what edged him out for this award. 20,000 Leagues Deep Award. This is an award for the subjectively deepest team in the league. We have Rollin' with Mahomies for the nominations, Brockness Monster, and Young Guns. I don't honestly even remember who won this one, so I don't know how much I'll be able to comment, but we gave it to Young Guns. So I think the reason that I probably gave it to Corey is because he, in my opinion, just has the deepest team without not including draft pick capital. He's got like players on his bench like, I mean, he traded for Jonathan Taylor, but he had players on his bench like Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman had moments of shine for him. Bunch of other players that are on his bench that like would be probably starters on some teams in this league. So I gave it to Corey for this one. All right. Just one second. I will be back in like 2 minutes. I gotta go do something real quick. All right, I am back. Oof. Okay, yeah, we're back in it. Here we go. All right. Diamond in the Rough Award. I wish that I would have put the previous recipients on these slides just for a little bit more context. Um, I mean, you can always go back at the dynasty sheet and you can see them. So if you want to remember, you can. But for the future, I think I'm gonna have to add the list of whoever won it last year. So just a little bit more context. Diamond in the Rough Award is for the best waiver pickup of the 2024 season. Oh, nominations are it was slim pickings for this a little bit, so I think I went back till basically after the NFL draft, so any time from basically May to the end of the year for this one. So the nominations were Nick Westbrook-Akine for Jurassic Park, Kareem Hunt for Digos, and Sammy D. Darnold for Nier. And the winner was. Stop doing that. Sam D. Darnold for Nier. Basically ended up just having himself a hell of a year, filling in for J.J. McCarthy. Nier ended up trading him to Payjack about midway through the year too, and got a first for him. So even in our super deep league, basically was still able to find a first round pick in the off the waiver wire. So good for him. That was a very well deserved award. Next award is the Jake Browning Award, aptly named after last year's Jake Browning debacle. This award is for the most useless use of Fab in the 2024 season. There's a couple fun ones in here, if I remember right. Ooh. So, all right. Yeah, nominations were $48 for let's try this. Dare Ogunbowale, I think is how you say it. The Houston backup running back who basically had like one game where he caught like 5 balls and a touchdown and then was basically like completely useless anytime after. Um, we had $100 on Dernest Johnson by Drake and Bake. Um, that one not great either, but at least there was some context for that one. And that Sam Matt owned Trevor Etienne, and he was just basically picking up the backup to that. So if Tank went down or if whatever, he at least had something. And we're not surprised seeing $100 bids for anyone really in this league because it's so deep. I believe the winner of this last year was $100 for Martavius Bryant, if I remember right. At least this one has a little bit of context. And then the third nomination is $36 for Britton Covey, which is strong candidate in my opinion. Um, I will detail a little bit more because oh shit, what are we doing here? Like triple tech. Oh boy, we got lost. Okay, Jake Browning Award. Here we go. I didn't even switch out the picture. Yeah, but it is Britton Covey. That's how useless this guy was. I couldn't even find a picture of him. Um, but no, the reason that I gave this one is because literally, like, he didn't even see the field for J. Roy's team for $36, and then he literally dropped him the week after. Um, therefore earning the reward for basically $36 for being on someone's team for 1 week to not even be played. So in my opinion, that was kind of where that one lined up. Next award, the Most Improved Team Award. This is an award for the team that improved their team the most from after the draft until the end of the year based on only player capital, so not including draft picks. Most Improved Team Award, we had Rough Riders adding Addison, Gino, and Judy. We had Young Guns adding CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, and Brandon Ayuk. And then Brockness Monster adding Khalil Shakir, Kyle Pitts, and Josh Jacobs, which he did in like that early offseason trade. I think there's like a clear winner here, which was Young Guns with Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Ayuk, who we'll see what happens with him this year, but basically off CeeDee Lamb and Jonathan Taylor alone, he basically wins this award. But yeah, well deserved, well deserved. He did end up paying for it for sure, so it was it was worth it in the long run. Hopefully for him, we'll see what happens with him after next year. Okay, then we got Play Better Defense Award. This is an award for the team that had the most points scored on them at inopportune times. What did I even mean by that? I don't even know. But I guess we'll look at the nominations, which is Daigo's, Young Guns, and Near. Okay, I think that like I messed up the the definition for this award, which was just basically usually goes to the person who has the most points scored against them, basically, which was Near. I mean, he ended up having some astronomical point totals that he ended up and I think that I said inopportune times because he somehow ended up with the worst record in the league, even though he was like nowhere near the low. He wasn't really that close to like lowest points for, but he was like far and away the most points against, and was like 1-4 at the start of the season, even while putting up some solid numbers because people just kept going off against him. So play better defense award for him. I think Pajak was probably the one who won that last year, if I remember right. The Life Alert Award. This is an award for the team that had a strong start, then fell and couldn't get up. All right. Nominations are Daigos 4-1 to 7-7. Young Guns from 2-1 to 2-5 to 7-7. And basically, when I was scouring the league, these were the only two that made any sense to me for this award. And the winner was Daigos. Started off super hot, 4-1, and basically ended up falling apart toward the back end of the season. I don't even remember really what happened to him. I mean, he has Tyreek Hill, which didn't really do do much for him this year, and he didn't have a tight end. But other than and he had Aaron Rodgers, so yeah, few things for sure that didn't go correct for him, and we also see him later on in the awards show because he also wins another award somewhat related to this. So the Put Me In Coach Award. This is an award for the team that statistically had the worst start sit percentage, determined by points for over max points for. We were making a big deal about this throughout, or at least I was when I was doing like my weekly reviews and stuff. But the nominees are Mega Weenie Mites, Young Guns, and Near. During the year, I was making a lot of comments about how Corey was really racking it up in this category. Um, but the winner of the award was actually Mega Weenie Mites, who had a 75.8% sit start rate for his team. Um, Corey wasn't too far behind. I think he was like 78, but Pajak ended up taking over for him over the last like couple weeks. All right, the Fire Sale Award. This is an award for the team that made the most rebuilding sales throughout the year. So we had Brock Monster with DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen, and Jerry Jeudy. You had me with selling CeeDee Lamb, Cam Akers, and Devin Singletary. And then you had Allied Andy selling Devontae Adams and Dak Prescott. And Brockness Monster, to nobody's surprise, won this award. Um, he loves rebuilding. Even though he could have gotten second in this year's league, he has since made even more fire sale award. He might probably get a win it next year too. I wouldn't even doubt if he had actually won it last year too. Might be worth looking into. But my brother loves draft picks, so he loves selling players for draft picks. Next award is the Day Trader Award. This is an award for the team that made the most trades, good or bad, during the year after the draft. Nominees are Mega Weenie Mites, Young Guns, and Brock Monster. Winner is Young Guns. Corey was trading hot this year. Ended up dropping 8 from after the draft until the end of the season. Um, yeah, he was a very active trader. He had like those trades where he just traded his like 26s for 27s with people that were like there was like 2 draft trades just like that. Traded with me, traded with Notario for Russell Wilson, traded with Rough Riders for Jonathan Taylor. He was a lot of moves. So he wins the Day Trader Award. All right, exciting times. This is the Trust the Process Award, the new award that basically I felt like I just had to include here. Um, this is an award for the team that made the most trades, good or oh no wait, is this good or bad or made the least trades good or bad during the year after the draft? What do we do here? So we had Mega Weenie Mite. What did I fuck this up? I did. Okay. I didn't end up. So let's see. Yeah, I didn't end up changing this, which feels bad because I actually was very excited about this award. But the Trust the Process Award is for the team that has made the least amount of trades during the year and after the draft. And none of these nominees were correct. My original selling point for this was that there's actually only one person who gets this award because, and it's Dygos, because not only did he have 0 trades this year, we ended up finding out that he actually hasn't had a single trade in this league since the startup draft. So in 2 years that we've been in this league, he actually hasn't traded with anybody once. So he is the Trust the Process Award winner. Well deserved in my opinion. Let's see if he can go for a three-peat next year. The the next award is the Blockbuster Trade Award. This is an award for the trade that included big name dynasty players that drastically changed both teams. We had the Drake and Bake, Young Guns, Russ Ayuk, Higgins Lockett trade. The CeeDee Lamb 325 first trade between myself and Corey, Young Guns. And then Cody's trade for DK Metcalf for a first, a second, and a third. And the winner is CeeDee Lamb for 325 firsts. I do believe that this ended up being the biggest trade of the year, even though it didn't result in much, at least for Corey. Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, doesn't get much bigger name than CeeDee Lamb in 3 firsts, so pretty self-explanatory award right there, in my opinion. The next award is the Hoarder Award. This is an award for the team that acquired the most net trade capital this year after the 2024 draft. Basically meaning like if you traded your first but then got back a first, like you didn't gain anything. That's what it means by net. So like net on top of what you already had. The nominees for this are Near, who got 2 firsts and 1 second. Myself, who got 3 firsts and 2 seconds. And then Payjack, and this is also including the trades that were just made prior to the draft. So including my Drake London trade, including Payjack's CJ Stroud trade. So he ended up with 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds between Metcalf, his CJ Stroud trades, and in my opinion, I think I messed up because mine probably should have been -3 because I ended up paying 2 for Drake London. But the winner of this was definitely Mega Weenie Mites. He's done a really good job of acquiring draft picks here and setting himself up for a nice rebuild over especially the last couple months. I really like the moves that he's made. The next award is the No Show Joe Award. This is an award for the team that had the lowest scoring week during the season. The nominees for this award are the Mega Weenie Mites, Allied Andy, and the Slim Reapers. All true bottom of the barrel teams at this point in the league. The winner was Mega Weenie Mites, who dropped a 60.4 week 7 score. And I think that was the lowest that we've had so far in the league. I believe the one last year when I looked at the slides was more than that. So this is the new line to beat if you want to have the lowest score of any team during a week. And I don't know if there's going to be anyone that really touches this probably because I think Payjack's team is going to be a lot better after he does this draft. So I don't know. We'll see. Fantasy is Cruel Award. This is an award for the team that had the unluckiest loss of the season. Nominees are Diagos, .28 loss in week 7. Um, a Rough Riders loss where he scored 192 points in week 13. And another Diagos loss where he lost by less than a point in week 11. I mean, those are strong candidates. Um, I literally might actually pull up context for this one because, okay, let's see. So the winner of this award was Diagos for the week 7 loss that he had. Let's see. Let's see if we can give a little context here because it was pretty gross what ended up happening to him. All right, let's see. So we go league week 7. All right, let's take a peek here at his little loss here. So he was facing Daniel Jones. Ignore the bye here, but he was facing Daniel Jones, who only scored 6 points. Jane Daniels had by far his worst game, obviously, that he had last year of only 5 points. He had Alexander Madison go for 15 against him. Tyreek Hill dropped a total of 2.3 points. Pretty solid scores for the rest of it when you're just kind of looking. Got a solid game out of Tank Bigsby. You're like, oh man, you get 23.8 points out of Tank Bigsby. That's a good. That's looking good for you. Um, but then he ran into the bulldozer that is Rashad White, who ended up dropping 29-10 that game. I think that was by far his best game. 29, yeah, so I just saw it. 29-10. I mean, he had some good games this year, but yeah, like he basically lost, unfortunately, to a Daniel Dimes led team with only one quarterback. And he got 0 points because he doesn't have a tight end, so he got 0 points out of Mo Alley Cox. Truly, truly impressive L there, unfortunately for him. Um, but yeah, good luck not getting this next year. I forget who got this last year. I think it was Matt. I think Matt only just barely missed out on like playoffs because he lost by like some similar margin, like .28. But hopefully nobody is you never want to be the recipient of this next year. So the next award is the biggest rivalry award. This is an award for the greatest competitors that went back and forth throughout the season. And the nominees are Drake and Bake and Rollin' with Mahomies, who were both oftentimes battling each other for the first and second place spot, as well as playing each other in the championship. Mega Weenie Mites and the Slim Reapers, which was me and Pajak going for the first overall pick tankathon. And then Young Guns versus his starting lineup, which was a constant struggle throughout the entire year for Corey, unfortunately. And I decided to go Mimi on this one, and I gave it to Corey. It just was funny watching him. Unfortunately, because his team was so deep, oftentimes just not starting the correct players week to week. I don't really know what was going on there, but unfortunately for him, it just wasn't in the cards. Um, I think we all looked it up afterwards, and I think even if he had made the playoffs, like he wouldn't have even gotten past like like the original. Like I don't even think he would have got to the semis. But yeah, with the team that he had, you know, if it wasn't so deep, maybe he would have made it. But we're just going a little memey here, and I mean both the myself and Pajak and um, Matt and J. Roy were both pretty worthy of this as well. And then the final award, the Tupper Trophy. This is the trophy bestowed upon the greatest game of the season. There are no nominations this year for this one because, in my opinion, there was only one game that could win this award, and that was the championship game. That was a freaking absolute slobber knocker of a game between Drake and Bake and Roland Mahomes. Drake J. Roy ended up pulling it out on like literally his last player within the last drive of the last game. Ended up eclipsing Matt. There was a 40 bomb from T. Higgins, a 38 bomb from Malik Neighbors, a 36 bomb from Trey McBride. Roland Mahomes had to start Joe Flacco just to even like hope to attempt to win. Yeah, it just overall it was a great overall game, and like we were all, I don't know about everyone else personally, but I was watching that pretty intently because it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth because Matt was winning a big, and then J Roy kind of evened it out, and you're like, okay, J Roy's gonna pull this out, and then Matt ended up like getting some ridiculous performances from some other players that ended up putting him pretty high above J Roy, and then like he just ended up somehow winning on like the last drive of the game on just like some like 9 yard like first down pass. So in my opinion, that was the best game of the year and well deserving of the Tupper Trophy. And I believe that is all the awards for this year. Thank you very much, everyone. We're all looking forward to the upcoming NFL draft. Everyone is all paid up. We're all going into next year. And yeah, it's exciting, and we'll hope to see you there. Looking forward to the draft with everyone. Have a good day. Good night.